Welcome to Ion Connecticut. I'm Mike Savino. In today's episode, we're actually going to be doing two parts looking at the pandemic and the economic impact that it's had on women. There's been plenty of information out there about how women and women-owned businesses in particular are falling behind economically in the pandemic. So to take a look at this, we're first joined by Tori Brown. She's the owner of Breakfast Bell in Norwalk. Tori, thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
So Tori, just first, talk to me about what your business was before the pandemic.
So my business is called Breakfast Bell. I cater. I do Southern style eats and more. And before the pandemic, I was really getting a lot of clients from the corporate sector. So everybody from Diageo, I've also done Datto Corporation, Yale University. So before that, my business was basically bringing in about 80% income from corporate. Then once the pandemic hit, people are being mandated to work from home. That really cut out a huge chunk for me. So I've really had to refocus, realign, and pivot during the pandemic.
And so what do you do now? What does Breakfast Bell focus on?
So meanwhile, there is a component of the corporate catering. It's very minimal. But I've been able to pivot by launching a new product, my Bama fish fry, which is a pre-seasoned cornmeal. In 2018, I had already launched to self-manufacture my hot sauce as well. And then I also had to pivot with the help of Itoro Appliances, Tony Itoro, with being able to pivot and do virtual cooking classes for a lot of my clients. And even with that, with the catering, I even had to move into doing a co-op shared space with the owners of Barbara Jean Soul Food Kitchen in Norwalk. They've been awesome in allowing me to use their space to, fulfill products, and also do catering gigs that I get out of there as well.
And what has that meant for your business as a whole? Not just for you, but I'm sure in your catering business that you had some staff with you. What is this? What has this pivot meant for your business?
So this pivot meant for my business, it has been me being more so a one-woman show. Before the pandemic, I had about 2 to 3 staff members with me. We would do the catering gigs, prep, go on site. But again, since that has heavily declined, since the pandemic, for me, I've just really had to refocus and realign, even personally, as a mom, which I'm pretty sure a lot of women-owned businesses, we're juggling motherhood, and we're also juggling, trying to handle a business at the same time and restructure.
Of course, the federal government has tried to help out businesses in your situation, in particular, trying to.
Yes.
We have the Paycheck Protection Program to try to make sure that people are keeping their employees on so that they're getting all the benefits of employment. Did you try to get any PPP funds?
I did. The first round I did, and I wasn't, I was declined the first round. With the help of the Women's Business Development Council, doing a few of their programs and seminars on what they're looking for and how to fill out these applications and grants and whatnot. This time, the second round, I was approved. So that's, it's been pretty good and it's been pretty awesome. It really is helping small businesses, women-owned businesses like myself, stay afloat during this crazy time.
And we, there's information out there, there's data out there about how women-owned businesses in general are having a harder time getting PPP, especially that first time around. I mean, do you think you would have been able to get those funds without the help of the Women's Business Development Council? And if you didn't get those funds, what would that mean for your business?
So being a woman-owned business, and also in 2020, October, I also became a certified Connecticut minority business enterprise. So through the state of Connecticut. So I think that also helped to be recognized as a women-owned business. Without it, I really think I probably would have gone under. I would have fought, tooth and nail not to, and really relied on the sale of my products. But I really think I probably would have gone under if I didn't have that funding and that help from WBDC.
And just for listeners, we'll be talking to them in part 2 of this conversation about some of the things like they did with Tori. But Tori, even with that help, were you able to keep your employees on, or are they still out there either unemployed or looking for other work? And also, what is the breakdown of your staff in terms of men versus women?
So men versus women, I had about 3 females on staff and 1 guy who I would have come to do, help me with the muscle work on site and some of the prep work. After the pandemic, it's really just been me. I have a part-time person that comes in and helps me like fulfill orders on Mondays, and we get everything in and packaged up. So I'm like half a staff, just me and the part-time person. So we've been pushing on and really striving. And I'm hoping that this summer, with things opening back up, more people getting the vaccine, that we'll see a turnaround, like just overall for everybody, especially my business.
You also mentioned, being a mom and some of the difficulties that's placed on you. And we've also seen plenty of surveys throughout the pandemic where women feel that they've been taking on the burden compared to their husbands in obviously traditional heterosexual marriages about the burdens at home, particularly kids learning from home rather. Talk to me about what's going on in your household. Are your kids going to school? Are they learning virtually?
So my child, she is homeschooled. So we've just decided it was a lot, trying to run a business, also trying to keep on schedule with the remote learning, all the many passwords. It was just, I'm like, I could barely keep up with the 2 I have, let alone the logins for school. So for us, I felt like, by the time, the teacher was juggling back and forth between the in-class and the remote students online, we were wasting almost 2 to 3 hours. So we just decided that homeschool was better for her. She can retain the information that we're teaching her within that 3 to 4 hour time frame. And it's easier to schedule around, like when I have catering gigs, when I have to fulfill the product. So, and then also she's learning very skillful lessons because she even started her own little jewelry beaded company called JoJo's Beads. So she's picking up valuable life skills while watching me, do my thing as well.
But of course, I'm sure that creates a lot more work for you running a business, and also not just helping your kid get educated, but
yes,
doing the education. That must be a lot of work.
Yes, it definitely is. Luckily, she's in the 2nd grade, so I'm okay with that math. I'm like, if she was in the 5th, 6th grade, we might have a problem. But right now, we're pretty good and stable. Yeah.
And you mentioned the help of the Women's Business Development Council and helping you get the PPP. But just talking to me a little bit more about just even navigating all of this as a woman-owned business. How difficult is it? And, having a resource like the Development Council that's focused on women-run businesses, because obviously there's resources for all businesses, but having access to something that focuses on women particularly and some of the issues that they're facing.
Yeah, they've been so excellent, like from the jump. I can't even name the programs, everything from financial to the PPP to their equity matching grant. Everything from the one-on-one coaching, like I've even ramped up my marketing and social media because of them, and just learning like different skills and things because of them. So they've really been very helpful, like the PPP and I always get it wrong, the EIDL application, that's all through SBA as well. They ask for everything, your license, your this, your this, your this. So just making sure that they prepped us to have all of those documents and to have our numbers ready and things of that sort, just to be prepared for, the application when the 2nd round came out. So they've been excellent in that, definitely.
Sure. Excellent. Thanks for joining me, Tori. I'm gonna have to get some of that hot sauce because hot sauce makes it
definitely
better, so.
It's on my website, www.breakfastbell.com.
Sure. Thanks for joining us. And as I mentioned earlier, we'll be talking to the Development Council as part 2 of our conversation today. So all of our listeners, check that out and hear, more about broadly these issues that women are facing and what's being done to help them through the pandemic.
Yes. Awesome. Thank you again.